it's important that we get more people to buy our things. We can't stay in business if people don't buy what we have to sell. So the most important thing is to figure out how do we create products and services that will attract customers and to get customers to be our advocates, to tell other customers about our products and services. But the challenge is today, more than ever, that it is no longer sufficient to be faster or better at what we did yesterday and expect that people will want to buy our products tomorrow. Competition has increased. The number of products that are available and services that are available has increased. The innovation that our competitors use to try to have a product or service that's better or different than what we have has increased. So it's no longer okay to do what we did yesterday and think that we will attract more customers, think that customers will be our advocates, and think that we will continue to be successful in business over time. Today it's important that we don't just get faster or better. It's important that we navigate our companies to where they need to be in the future, to attract customers, to navigate, to innovate, to change, and to create products and services that customers will want tomorrow. We need to be better at predicting where do we need to go tomorrow so that our customers will come along on the journey with us and continue to give us their money. Here's the challenge, is that nobody buys anything. We talk about this like someone bought a shirt, someone bought a car, someone bought a vacation, but buying something isn't actually the process that we use. If we go to the store or the mall or the shopping center and we're shopping for a shirt, when we get to the store or the mall or the shopping center, there might be 10 shirts, 20 shirts, 50 shirts, 100 shirts. So the question is, how do we get people to choose the shirt that we make? A while back, I was getting ready to make dinner, and I realized that I needed some sauce for what I was making for dinner. And I went to the food store that was close to my house to buy some sauce for the food I was making for dinner. And when I got to the store, I was faced with choosing between all the options that were out there. I ended up choosing between 42 different kinds of sauce that were at the food store. And our customers view us like products that are at the food store. There might be 5 options, 10 options. In my case, there were 42 different options of things I could choose from. And that's just in the sauces. That doesn't count all the other things that we can choose from. And to our customers, we appear like items on the grocery store shelf, and they are desperate to have us help them figure out which of the options should they choose. They can choose between us, one of our competitors, something that's similar to us. They can choose to not spend their money at all. And there are so many options out there today for customers to spend their money that they're confused as to which choices are the right choices to make. And as business owners, the most important thing we can do is help our customers choose us versus all the other options out there for spending their money. And that's the only way that we can stay in business, is if we have enough customers choose our product or our service. So the question is, how do we today and tomorrow and into the future make sure that our customers choose our product? There's one thing that matters to all businesses. It doesn't matter whether you're a service business, a product business. It doesn't matter what country you live in. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's one thing that the best companies do that allows them to succeed over time. And the companies that do this have the opportunity to succeed, and the companies that don't eventually fail. The one thing that you need to do is find a way to be different from your competition in a way that your customer values. Be different in a way that your customer will vote for you with their dollars. Different in a way that they'll give you their dollars versus all of the other choices that they have in the market. And so we need to figure out, not just today, but into the future, how to be different from the competition in a way that they'll vote for us. In order to know that, one of the most important things to understand is how to build a brand and how a brand works. Now, a brand is a very often misunderstood concept. So I'm going to talk to you about a brand in a very different way than most people think about a brand. A brand resides in the mind of an individual decision maker. Your brand resides in the mind of an individual person who's going to choose to either give you their money, or to give their money to one of your competitors, or to not spend their money at all. The way that we decide about your brand is the same way that your customers decide whether they will give you their money. It's the same way they decide what do they want to buy, where do they want to go on vacation, what kind of job do they want to have. Every choice that we make in life happens in our mind and in the mind of an individual. So your brand resides in an individual decision maker's mind. And because they decide about your brand, and they decide whether they're going to give you their money versus all the other options in their brain, their decisions are partly rational and partly emotional. Because that's the way our brains work. We have a logical side to our brain where we say, I'm going to look at all the choices and make the best choice based on logic. But in every decision, there's also an emotional side to the decision. How does it make us feel? How does it make us look? What are the risks? What are the things that will be good or bad for me in my future by making this decision? Everything in life has a brand. I have a brand, you have a brand, your business has a brand, products have a brand, services have a brand, days of the week have a brand. In the United States, Monday is a sad day and Friday is a happy day because Friday is the day before the weekend and Monday is the day before you have to go to work. Every single thing has a brand. And it's how we navigate decisions in our day-to-day life. The most important thing that differentiates businesses that grow over time and businesses that struggle or that fail is that they have clarity about what makes them different in a way that customers will buy their product or service versus all the other ones out there. And that clarity starts at the top of the organization with the CEO or the owner of the company, and it permeates all the way down to the very front line employees, to the employees that deliver the service or deliver the product. And it also extends all the way to the customers. The companies that do well have clarity around what makes them special and different in a way that customers will choose them versus all the other options. And not just one person in the organization has clarity, but everybody in the organization and every customer is clear about why their product or service is the best and the right choice. So today in my presentation, I'm going to show you 4 questions that the world's best brands use to have clarity about why people should choose them, not just today, but tomorrow, next month, next year, and down the road into the future. How do you stay relevant and important to all of your customers over time? These are the same 4 questions that the world's best brands use to stay relevant and to grow their sales. When I worked on the brands that you heard of, Coors Light, which is a beer brand, and Red Robin, which is a restaurant brand, these are billion-dollar brands, and these are the same 4 questions that billion-dollar brands around the globe use to make sure that their customers continue to choose them. Question number 1, who are your ideal customers? So many times, business owners are afraid to eliminate any potential customers out of their customer set because they feel like they want to make the most money, so they want to have the largest base of customers possible. The trick is that when companies narrow the number of customers they're trying to attract, when they narrow the types of customers they're trying to attract, their companies actually grow faster. Let me show you an example of a very small business that opened up and had a hard time attracting customers. It's an auto repair shop in Denver, Colorado, in the United States, where I live. And it's an auto repair shop that is on 6th Avenue. So the owner, who used to work at a big corporation, he lost his job from the big corporation, so he became an entrepreneur. And he was a certified auto mechanic. So he decided he had always wanted to open his own auto repair shop. So he took his money from his corporate job and he opened up an auto repair shop. And it's on 6th Avenue, so he named it 6th Avenue Auto. Now, 6th Avenue is 31 miles long. That would probably be about 40 kilometers long. And so he didn't do himself any favors as to where the location of his shop was. And he decided that he would repair imports and domestics. That means cars that were from other countries and cars that are made in the United States, which by my math means all cars everywhere. So he didn't narrow his focus. He decided he would repair cars of all types for all people because that would give him the largest potential base of customers. The problem was, and he believed that because he opened the auto repair shop, that customers within 4 kilometers around his auto repair shop would just come in and get their cars repaired at his shop because it was open. So many times as business owners, we believe if we open a business, then customers will naturally show up. Customers will buy from us because our business exists. Over and over and over, as I work with companies and CEOs, I find that customers don't come in just because you exist. Customers don't show up just because you wish they would show up. So this gentleman opened an auto repair shop and he didn't get very many customers. He thought they would come in from 4 kilometers around and very few customers showed up. So what he did was what many business owners do when they don't have enough customers. He started to advertise. he started marketing. He started spending money to advertise and let people within 4 kilometers around know that his auto repair shop was open for business and that they should come in and get their cars repaired there. He put notes, what we call door hangers. He put door flyers on doors of all the homes within a 4-kilometer area. And the flyer said, "Come in to 6th Avenue Auto and get your oil in your car changed for $20. And normally an oil change in the United States costs about $30. So he had lots of customers that came to his business and wanted a $20 oil change. Lots and lots of customers came in the door. They got their oil changed at his repair shop, and then they never came back again because they were simply looking for a discount. What he wanted was to find customers that would bring their cars to get them repaired, not just a simple oil change. But he said to me that what he realized when all those customers were coming into his shop was that lots of customers in his area, lots of customers within 4 kilometers, seemed to drive an Audi or a Volkswagen. Lots of people in his neighborhood were Audi and Volkswagen drivers. So he decided it might be a good idea to specialize in fixing Audis and Volkswagens. So he changed his website. He did not have an impressive website. This was his website at the time. And all over his website, he said, "We service Audi and Volkswagen. We specialize in Audis and Volkswagen." He narrowed his focus. And he didn't even change the sign that was out in front of his auto repair shop because he told me the sign was so expensive, he didn't have enough money to change the sign because he had so few customers. So he changed his website to let people know that he specialized in Audis and Volkswagens. What happened was people did not come in from just 4 kilometers around. They came in from all over Denver, Colorado. He tripled his business in the next 18 months. He tripled his business in 18 months because he narrowed his focus. And what he told me was he realized that people don't want to go to the Volkswagen or the Audi dealership to get their car repaired, but they do want to go to somewhere that specializes in their kind of car. People don't want to go to a generalist. They want to go to someone who specializes in their specific problem, because we all believe that our problem, our challenge, is very important. And we want the best person for our specific problem. Whether that's an auto repair, we want someone who specializes in our kind of car. And so over and over and over, as I work with business owners and CEOs, one of the magic things to grow your business is to narrow the focus to a specific kind of customer and make them feel like you solve a problem for customers just like them. Customers feel that their problem is special. So how can you show them that you specialize in customers that are just like them? Insights, or understanding what drives people, what do people make their decisions based on, is powerful for your business. He learned that people wanted to go to somewhere that specialized in their kind of car, so when he narrowed his focus, his business grew dramatically. So what are the insights that you know about the customers you serve? What do they want more of from you or from your competitors? What do they want less of from you or your competitors? How do they make decisions? What are they struggling with? What do they wish they had a solution for? That brings up question number 2, which are your insights. Those people, those ideal focused customers that you serve better than anyone, what are they looking for? What problem are they trying to solve? Now, as decision makers, as customers, we make decisions on 3 different levels. We seek things on 3 different levels. Level 1 is the price of entry. What does this mean? The price of entry is what every competitor in your space must do in order to compete in your space. As an auto repair shop, you would need to know how to fix cars. You would need to have a garage. You would need to have all of the right tools. You would need to have a schedule with time when we could schedule my car soon. And many times business owners market themselves, they advertise themselves, but what they say in the advertisement is only the things that are the price of entry. They say the same things as all of the other competitors in the market. So take a look at your website. Evaluate your advertising and your marketing against your competitors. Look at your marketing, look at your competitors' marketing, and see if you say the same things. See if you use the same words. See if you have the same things that you say you will accomplish for your customers. If you're saying the same things as your competition, you're probably talking about things that are the price of entry or that everyone must do to compete in your business. And if you're saying the same things as everyone, it doesn't help customers know why they should choose you versus all the other options out there. If your sauce looks like all the other sauce on the shelf, and there are 42 kinds of sauce, then nobody knows which sauce to choose, and they need more help than ever deciding which option, which competitor is the best choice for them. The next level on which we seek things is rational. Rational level means we can compare one option to another option to another option, and we can make a logical decision as to which option is the best for us. We can write down all the good things, all the bad things of each option and make a decision based on logic. But the reality is that we are emotional people. Every decision that we make, like we talked about earlier, has a rational component and an emotional component. The companies that succeed the most don't just talk about the things that are the price of entry or that every competitor in the space can do. They also talk about the rational reasons why they are the best, the logical reasons why they are the best option, as well as the emotional reasons. And any company that can help a customer make a decision on all 3 levels are the companies that have the greatest level of success. And the people who can get to the level of people making an emotional decision about how will this impact my life, how will it impact my family, how will it make my life easier or better or more efficient, how will it help me get more things done and be happier or more successful in life. If you can deliver things on all 3 levels, those are the companies that are the most successful. And the ones who operate on the emotional level have the highest profit margins. And you can see advertising all over the world that gets to the emotional level, things like fragrances or different high-end items, how they'll make you look. Those are very emotional decisions because we want to look good, feel good, be in love, be happier, and we're willing to pay more for those things with which we have an emotional attachment. And every decision includes all three of these levels. So I challenge you to make your products relevant to your customers on all three levels. In order to do that, you have to understand the insights of what people are choosing on each level. How are they making decisions? Which are the price of entry? What must you do in order to compete in your space? Then what are the rational reasons why people are choosing your product versus another? And what are the emotional reasons why? And those insights about how people choose on each level will help you create unique things about your product or service based on the mind of your potential customers. Question number 3, what's your outcome? So many times as business owners, we talk about ourselves. We talk about our business. We talk about our product and our service. We talk about ourselves. But what we always must remember as business owners is that your customers don't care that much about your business or your product or your service. They care about what your product or service does for them. They care about themselves and what you do for them. There is a good way to talk about yourself, but before you talk about yourself or your business, you must talk about what your product or service or business does for them. I'll give you an example that is many times used in marketing. The question is, who wants to buy a drill bit? And the answer is that nobody actually wants to buy a drill bit. They want to buy the outcome that you get from a drill bit. They want to buy a hole. They don't want to buy the tool. They want to buy the outcome that you get from owning the tool. But the reality is that nobody wants to buy a hole either. Nobody wants to buy a drill bit. Nobody wants to buy a hole. They want to buy the outcome, which might be your shelf on the wall with all of your books and vases on the shelf. They want to buy the outcome. They want to buy happiness, a nicer home, a nicer life. They want to buy what's in it for them. So customers care about themselves. So as business owners, as you talk to customers, as you build your website, as you make your marketing materials, as you create your advertising, the most important thing is telling the customers what is in it for them. What do you deliver from their perspective? And then, and only then, we can talk about ourselves. And I'm going to show you a really special way that you can talk about yourself in a way that will get people to say yes to you. I spent my career making television advertising for products with brands that sell billions of dollars a year in sales. And there is a special technique that we use in making TV commercials that gets people to want to buy our products and services that most people don't even know we're doing. I'm going to show you how to use this technique that we use in TV commercials in your business, in your advertising. Even if you don't make TV commercials, you can use this technique. You can use it in your conversations where you're selling something. You can use it on your website. You can use it in your brochures. You can use it in your sales presentations. And it's called What's Your Because? The power of using a because. I'm going to tell you a story. In the early 1980s, there was a woman named Ellen Langer. Ellen was the first ever female tenured professor at Harvard. She was a sociologist, which means she studied how and why people take the actions that they do. And she studied how people were influenced to make decisions. And here's how she did the study. Back in the 1980s at the universities, there would be Xerox machines, photocopy machines, and people would wait in line at the library at the university to use the photocopy machines to photocopy books or notebooks or papers. And she would have a student walk up to the front of the line at the photocopy machine and try to cut in front of the line. Try to get the people in line to let them go first before everyone else. And she had them say different things to try to convince them, to try to influence them to let the student cut in front of the line. At first, she had the student walk up and say, "Excuse me, I have 5 pages. May I use the Xerox machine?" And 60% of the time, they let the student cut in front of all the other people in line. So that was her benchmark. That was her baseline. So she said, okay, let's see if we can get more people to say yes to us. So she had the student walk up to the front of the line and say something different. The student said, "May I use the Xerox machine because I'm in a rush." They inserted the word "because," and they gave the person a good reason. "Because I'm in a rush." And they said, did that influence more people to let us be in the front of the line? 93% of the time, that got them to allow the person to go to the front of the line. It influenced the people to make a different decision. But because I'm in a rush is a really good reason. So she wanted to test further. So she did a third trial where the student walked up to the front of the line and said, "May I use the Xerox machine because I need to make copies." Now, "I need to make copies" is not a good reason at all. But she used the word "because," so there was a reason, just not a very good reason. And 92% of the time, they still let the student go to the front of the line. Now, why does this happen? Our brains have so many things that we process, and so many advertisements, and so many decisions that we need to make all day, that we don't pay attention many times to the decisions that we make. They happen subconsciously. They happen in our brain, and we don't even know. All we're looking for is a really good reason. And it doesn't even have to be a good reason, but we want to know that there is a reason why one choice is better than the other choices. And we listen for a because. We listen for a reason why. And so what this means is the outcome that you deliver has to have a reason why, a because, a reason why you deliver that outcome to your customers differently or better than anyone else. Let me give you an example of how this works in actual marketing. In the United States, there's a pizza chain called Papa John's Pizza. Now, their slogan says, "We have better ingredients, so we have better pizza." Now, better pizza is the outcome. Question number 3, the outcome of their pizza is that their pizza is better. Now, I want you to think about if you heard advertising for a new pizza place, and their advertising said, "Hey, come to our pizza place because our pizza is better." Would that sound compelling to you? Would that sound believable? Or would it sound like marketing fluff? Would it sound like something they're just saying to get you to walk in the door? hey, come eat our pizza because our pizza is better. It sounds like something anybody could say, and there's no reason why. There's nothing to make me believe your pizza's actually better. So Papa John's inserted the line about having better ingredients. That is their because. We have better pizza because we have better ingredients. Now your brain has a reason to believe why your pizza is better. Now, Papa John's was a tiny, tiny little pizza company, and they got sued by Pizza Hut, which is a huge global pizza company. Pizza Hut said, you can't say your pizza tastes better than ours. But Papa John's won the lawsuit because they use fresh sliced tomatoes and filtered water. Their ingredients were not actually that much better, but they were better enough. And none of their customers looked into how the ingredients were better. They just wanted to know that the ingredients were somehow better. Papa John's today is a $3 billion a year pizza company, built simply because they put a reason why that their outcome was believable. They put a because right in their slogan, because we have better ingredients. So my question for you is, what's the outcome you're going to deliver, but what is your because? What's the reason why I would believe you can deliver your outcome better than any of your competitors? Let me give you another example. This is a brand that I worked on, the Coors Light beer brand. It's a $2 billion beer brand in the United States. When I worked on the brand, we were running advertising that looked the same as all the other beer advertising out there, and our sales were flat. The entire industry beer sales were flat, and nobody could get any sales increases. So we turned the liner in our can blue. Now, customers never knew that there was a liner inside their beer can. The secret of beer cans, in every beer can ever made in the world, is that there's a liner inside the can, because you can't put beer next to aluminum or the aluminum will corrode. So there's a clear liner inside the can that you can't see. We turned our liner inside our can blue, and we told all the customers that it existed. We said we have a special blue liner in the can. Even though it was the same liner that had always been there, it was just blue instead of clear. And we called it the Frost Brew Liner Can, and said that it locks in refreshing frost brewed taste. Now, everybody believed that our can had something special and different that no other can had. And our sales for our Coors Light cans went up by 5% in the first year. $100 million growth in our can business because we turned our liner blue. It was a reason to believe that there was something special and unique about our can versus all the other cans in the market. Now, what I'm not saying is that you should be misleading to your customers, but most companies that I work with have something special that they're already doing that their customers don't know that they're doing. Something special that they deliver that's different from the competition, that's important to their customers, and it's their best kept secret. What is it that makes you so good as an option? What is it that makes you such a good choice? How do you do what you do so well? how do you do what you do better or different than the competition? Tell your customers their outcome and then tell them your because, the reason why your solution is special and different than all the other options out there. When you have a because, it makes what you say more believable. We've got a special liner in the can. That makes it more believable that our beer will taste good. We've got better ingredients. That makes it more believable that our pizza will taste better. What is the thing that makes your outcome more believable? The other thing that is really important about a because is it makes your outcome more repeatable. It allows your customers to become your best marketing. It allows your customers to spread the word for you. It allows your customers to become your best referral source. Everybody out there could repeat what makes Coors Light cans special. Oh, those are the cans with the blue liners. Everyone can repeat what makes Papa John's pizza better. Oh, they use better ingredients. It gives you something to say that is unique and different, believable, and repeatable. And when you want to create one for your company, it's important that you make it unique to you, something that is unique and distinct about your product or service versus all the other ones out there. And it needs to be important, going all the way back to the beginning. It has to be important. You have to be unique in a way that your customers value, unique in a way that they'll give you their money versus all the other options out there. You could buy a whole pile of marketing books and try to learn how to do better marketing. The reality is that these 4 questions are the questions that the world's best brands use to grow their businesses over time and to continue to navigate to success and outpace their competition. If you go to my website, whatbigbrandsknow.com, you can download for free the first chapter of my business blueprint. And you just have to put in your email address and your first name, and the first chapter of the business blueprint includes one thing that matters to all businesses, the most important thing, how to build a brand on a budget, 5 ways to make more money in your business, 3 ways to lose less money in your business, and 3 important reasons why advertising doesn't work. All for free. Just go to my website. You're happy to download it for free, and you'll get a PDF that outlines all those things in my business blueprint. So it's free for you for listening to the webinar today. And this is my contact information. If you want to email me or visit my website, I'd be happy to hear from you. So I think we can take some questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Gerry, for a very interesting presentation. I think so we do have many questions around, because that was a lovely, lovely presentation. We loved it. Okay, folks, we are open for the question and answer. You can either put your question in the chat box or you can raise the hand icon available on your webinar console. So let me go ahead to the first question, and it is, how can I identify that my strategy is well defined and can generate profit for my business?
Can you repeat it just so I can hear it one more time, please?
How can I identify that my strategy is well defined and can generate profit for my business?
That's a really good question. One of the things I didn't have time to talk about today was one of the most important things that separates big brands from all other companies is that they spend an enormous amount of time listening to their customers. the best brands, the best companies, whether large or small, get insights from their customers, which I talked about. And one of the most important things is to listen, listen, listen to your customers. The only way you're going to know if you have a good strategy, a good product, a good message, a good outcome, and because, is if you ask questions to your customers and learn what they want more of, what they want less of, what are they frustrated about, what do they wish for. And there are lots of ways to do that today for less money than ever. It used to be very expensive to try to get insights from your customers. But today you can do it through surveys, through social media, through one-on-one interviews where you just talk to your customers, through get a group of your customers together and ask them questions and bounce ideas off of them. And so there's lots of ways to listen and learn from your customers, and especially this is important for companies if you lose a customer. If you have a big client or a big customer and then they all of a sudden leave your business and choose another business, you want to find out why. Because the way you know you have a good strategy is if the strategy delivers on the insights of your customers. And if you had a customer that left you for another client, for another competitor, that means they're doing something special or different that you're not doing. And so you need to find out why and how. So listening to your customers is the most important thing you can do to find out. That's the only really good way to find out if your strategy is right or wrong, is to get insights from the people that will give you their money for your product or service.
Thank you, Mr. Gerry. I hope that has answered the question for the attendees. We have another one, and the question is, what are the mistakes the companies make while marketing their products?
There are a few mistakes that companies make when marketing their products, especially when they're doing advertising. One is that they're trying to advertise to the wrong people, or they're trying to advertise or market to too many people. So that's one way that they waste their marketing or advertising, is that they're going too broad. And if you're too broad, your advertising or marketing costs you a lot of money because you have to reach so many people, and you're going to reach a lot of people who don't have an interest. Your marketing will be more effective if you can narrow your focus and find smaller groups of people who are more likely to be interested. So number one, you're going after the wrong people. You're spending money against too many people, too big of a group of people, or not specific enough. Number two is that you've got the wrong message. In other words, the message that you're using, and this is what happens with most, especially smaller business owners, their message is the same as all of their competitors. So if you've got a nice small group of people, if you've got a very specific group of people, but you've got the wrong message, or your message sounds just the same as all the other competitors out there, you still will have a hard time getting people to choose you, to get them to pick your option. Because if you look like everybody else, no one has got a reason to choose you versus all the other options out there. And the third reason people struggle with their marketing or their advertising is that they're putting the message in the wrong place. You may have the right group of people you're going after, but you've got to put the message where they are looking. And that comes back to getting insights about how do they spend their time, where do they look, where do they go, what do they do. So if you've got the right people, a narrow group of people, a small group of people, you've got the right message, and you've got the right medium, in other words, you put it in the right place, your advertising will be more likely to be successful. So group of people, message, and medium, or where you put it. Those are the big three things to get your advertising to be more successful.
Thank you, Mr. Gerry. Let me go to the next question. And the question is, how can I tell if there will be a strong demand for my product?
That's the hardest question that there is for a company that's making a new product. I can tell you, I started my career working at Procter & Gamble, which is one of the biggest marketing companies in the world, and they make hundreds of different products around the globe, and we spent millions and millions of dollars every year trying to predict would our products be successful in the market. And many times, even a big company, we didn't get it right. But what we did do, and what they do now, they used to do really big million-dollar studies to try to predict. And we would start with listening, as I mentioned, and getting insights from customers and learning what they liked and what they don't like and what they want more of and less of. And then we would do a big study to try to predict whether they would demand the product. Now it's done a different way, and this is something that everyone can do, is we do all those same things. We listen to our customers, we get insights, we talk to them, we get all the information we can, we understand what they want more of and what they want less of. But now, even big companies like P&G, the next step is to make a little bit of the product, to try it out with a small group of customers, whether it's a product or it's a service. Start small, make some of it, and try to sell it. Try to sell it in a small way with places where your customers exist. Try to sell your service, try to sell your product to a small group, and then get feedback from that group. At Procter & Gamble, we call it make a little, sell a little. So don't launch a big product in a big way. Launch the product in a small way and then learn what works and learn what doesn't work and then adjust and navigate. And this is a key part of being successful, is the only way you will really actually know if there's demand is if you make some of it and try it out. And you can actually start with even just making a picture of it and getting feedback from people through surveys, through one-on-one interviews, through asking friends and family. But then you have to make some of it and then try to sell it and then learn what people want, what people don't want, and then you make more of it based on the new things that you've learned, and then you make more of it. Even companies like Procter & Gamble are making a little, selling a little, making more, then selling more, and learning their way there, because it is so hard to predict what product will people actually purchase.
Thank you, Mr. Gerry. We have another one, and it is, how can we derive a business to move towards a change and have the clarity of goals in the employee's mind as well?
That's a good question, and it's so important that your customer, that your frontline people have that all the way down to the front line. So here's the way that I do it with the companies that I work with is when you're planning, actually take this presentation and the 4 questions to your next meeting where you have your key executives or your key people in the business, and see how you can answer the 4 questions as an executive team or as a leadership team for your company. And if your company is really small and you only have a few employees, you can do it with all the employees in a small meeting. When I work with bigger companies, we start by answering the questions with the top executives, with the top people in the company. And then we either roll out the answers to the questions of who are we, who are our ideal customers, what are the insights we know about them, what is our outcome and what our because, all the way down to the people in the front lines. But it's really, really important that everyone in your organization feels like they contribute to the answers. And most times, the people who are closest to your customers, the people who are dealing with your customers all day long, are many times those people that are lowest in the organization. And so if you want insights about your customers, you want to know what are the rational reasons why they make decisions and what are the emotional reasons why they make decisions, ask your people that are closest to your customers. Find a way to get input from them. Tell everyone in the organization that you're on a mission to answer these 4 questions, and give them tools to use to help you find the answers. And then take all that information, answer the 4 questions, and then put it into a 1-page document that gets shared with everyone in the organization. And it would say, who are our ideal customers? What do we know about how they make decisions? What is the outcome that we deliver differently than every other company? And what's our because? What's the reason why they should believe that our outcome is special and different? And if you get input at every level, they'll all feel like they had a contribution in creating those answers, and they'll have clarity about what the answers are and what makes you special all the way down to the front lines.
Thank you, Mr. Gerry. Well, we are coming to the end of the session, but I have time for one more last question. And the question is, how can I play my role as a businessman to make my business successful?
Can you repeat that, please?
How can I play my role as a businessman to make my business successful?
So business success, I believe, really actually comes down to the question that I asked in the beginning of the presentation is, how are you different in a way that your customers will choose you with their money? And the most important thing of all the most successful businesses is that they do create something different in a way that people will choose them. And the best way I know how to be successful in business is to truly have better answers to these 4 questions than all of your competitors. And then you have to execute with excellence. You have to give great service to your customers. You have to get a good reputation. You have to do all the things that you say. It's not good enough to just say that you're going to have a great outcome, or say what your because is that makes you special. You also have to deliver every single day with great service and a great product, and always try to innovate to make tomorrow better than today. Make your product better, make your service better, get your employees to be more friendly, to give better customer service. There's never any guarantee in business, but the most important thing you can do is answer these 4 questions and then deliver the business with excellence every single day.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Gerry. Folks, that brings us towards the end of this webinar. But we still have a few more questions, and we request you may directly reach Mr. Gerry on the contact addresses illustrated on the screen. Any concluding remarks from your side, Mr. Gerry, before we end this session?
That's it. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you all take the opportunity to download my free download. And thank you so much. This was an honor to be on the call today.
We really enjoyed your presentation, and thank you for a very interesting presentation. Hope the attendees had enjoyed it as well. So once again, I really want to thank you, Mr. Gerry, on behalf of Gulf Business Network Training Center for your valuable time and sharing valuable information with us. And thank you all of those who've attended this webinar. We are recording this webinar and it will be uploaded on our website. So please stay tuned to webinar.gbntc.com for updates or for downloading the soft copy of this presentation. With that, I'd like to end this webinar and you all will be automatically dismissed once the session ends. Thank you very much and you all have a good day. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mr. Gerry.
Thanks. Bye-bye.